Because our wonderful musical guest, Ingrid Michaelson, is coming down to talk to us.
So let's just ask Ingrid to join us. Have a
And
seat.
so, hi, just come on and sit right down. I'm Jessica. Nice to meet you. Now, I have to ask you this question right away because I, on my Facebook, announced that I was going to be talking to you. And Rebecca Starkey, one of my friends, wants to know where you usually buy your fabulous hats.
I do have a lot of hats. I don't know. People give them to me, and maybe like Urban Outfitters. I know it's kind of lame, but yeah, I do wear a lot of hats. I didn't realize that until a fan of mine, sort of similarly asked me, where do you get all your hats? I'm like, all my hats? What are you talking about? And then I realized I was wearing one as she asked me that. I don't know, just, where do you get your hats? Right? I don't have a special hat store, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, well, I guess she'll just have to go to, where did you say, Urban Outfitters?
That's where I've gotten some hats. I mean, if I'm pressed to remember. But I definitely get things as gifts. Fans give me hats.
Okay.
They knit me hats, yeah.
Great. Now, the way that you, quote, got your break or were discovered, this is everyone's dream. You put your music online, a music executive hears it, and all of a sudden your music is playing on Grey's Anatomy and all over prime time. I mean, what was that like?
Well, it was very bizarre because I didn't know what exactly to expect. Like you said, I put some songs up on MySpace, and in a matter of months I was approached by a licensing company that wanted to put my songs in TV and film and commercials, and at first I couldn't believe that it was really happening, and I was like, I didn't quite believe it, and I was like, okay, I'll work with you guys, and then shortly thereafter I got my first placement, and then I realized, okay, this is like the real deal, and yeah, it was at first very bizarre to hear my music and under some like very like dramatic scene, and there's my song. Yeah, it's strange. I feel very fortunate, very happy, but I think the overriding feeling is one of sort of being weirded out.
Weirded out?
Yeah.
So, I mean, have the past couple of years, it's just been a whirlwind. Is there one like OMG moment that just sticks out?
There are many OMG moments, but one of my favorite, it sort of happened very early on in my, as I was sort of rising. I had played a show here in New York at a small place. There was maybe 75 people there, which was a lot for me at the time. And normally people in the audience were all my friends and family, people I knew, and it was just all strangers. And they all started to sing along with one of the songs. And I'm like, how do you guys, who are you? Why do you, like, it was the first time I ever experienced like having actual fans singing my music, and that, that moment is so precious to me because it's when I actually realized that my music was affecting people, not like just like my mom, it was complete strangers.
Who will always love you no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. She thinks I'm the most talented thing ever, so that doesn't count. But yeah, that was a really special moment for me. And I mean, there's been many others that are amazing. Getting to perform at Carnegie Hall for REM I was invited to sing as part of a tribute night to that band, and I got to sing one of their songs. I got to meet Michael Stipe, the lead singer. It was like a really amazing moment. There have been many, but...
Is there anyone in particular that you want to work with one day?
I love, do you know Imogen Heap?
I'm not very good with music. I only listen to top 40.
Well,
which means you.
Somebody sampled Jason Derulo. I'm not good with names, but he sampled her song Hide and Seek, and sort of brought her from this like kind of indie realm to a more mainstream. Like people found out about her through this guy sampling her track. But she's a really interesting musician. She's like produces everything herself, all on, like with computers basically, like synth sounds, and she does all the programs, all the drums, does everything herself. So I've always been a fan of hers, but she's very impressive for many reasons, and her music is just really great. So you should look her up.
I will. Well, Rick is looking her up right now.
Jason Derulo. Oh, Jason Derulo. Okay.
Cool.
We have a question in the chat room.
All right. Chat away.
Ingrid, are you planning to tour again in the UK?
Oh yeah. Sometime next year. I don't know. I'm working on a record now that's gonna hopefully be done by March, and then you need like 3 months press time, so then it will come out in June or end of June maybe. And then once, I think that it's probably gonna come out in the UK at the same time, so in the fall.
So is your new single Parachute, is that part of this album that you're working on?
No, that was just a song that I wrote with a friend of mine maybe a year ago now, a year and a half ago, and this very large, like not large, physically large, but she's very small actually, but this really big star over in the UK did a version of it and had a big hit with it over there, and then I, for kind of just for fun, did a one-off. We just produced the track for myself, and it's really poppy, a little bit of a departure. Not that I mean, I know I play pop music, but it was a bit more poppy than I usually go. But we just thought it'd be fun to do one track, put it out there, see how it does. It's not part of a physical album. It's not going to be part of one. It's just sort of a very, 2011 approach. Just putting out one track, digitally and seeing what happens.
Yeah, and already it's super popular.
Yeah, it's doing all right.
What would be an iTunes recommendation for someone looking for new music?
Oh, okay. I say I like all things that aren't, not that I dislike mainstream stuff, but I kind of gravitate more towards things that not many people have heard of. But there's an amazing artist. Her name is Jessica, not Jessica.
That would be my name.
Jessica, Jesca, Jessica Hoop, and her voice is just like, it's got so many little nooks and crannies, and it's just this she's gorgeous, strange melodies, but they all make sense, and they're just so beautiful, and she has a record out, maybe it's half a year old now, and I love it.
How do you discover music like that?
Well, I met her on a tour that I did a couple years ago, and so I've kept track of her records and her music, and it's the kind of, for me, she's the artist that when I lose faith and I'm like, I hate what I do, I hate musicians, this is horrible, I put on her record and I am reminded of what I love about music. So yeah.
Wait, so have you encountered some bad things, now that you've made it this big, you're one of the most downloaded artists? Like, are there parts of the music industry that you didn't expect?
Well, I mean, it is about selling yourself, and you're kind of a product, and you have to, I don't like wearing makeup, and I don't like having my hair done, and like I don't like wearing heels. Like I that's not my thing. But that part of it is kind of, it goes with the territory though, like I'm willing to do all these things, and because I love performing, I love being in front of an audience, and I love that, and I love writing, and I love making records, and I mean I can do all that and not do any of the other stuff like radio promo and dressing up and but it's part of the whole thing if you want to keep making fans and pushing forward. I think at some point in my life I'm probably going to be like just making records, touring, as I want, and not going all out,
Yeah, I mean,
No, go ahead. Finish. Go ahead.
I was saying when I'm like, children and dogs and things like that. But for now, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to like be the center of something too. Like I'm very much of a kind of a ham, but I don't, it weirds me out that I'm like the center of this big project, like the Ingrid Michaelson project, and I have like a publicist and a booking agent and a manager and everything like comes down to me in the middle, and it's strange being the center of that. So
that's a good point. It's hard these days if you are a musician and you're really popular, just to be a musician. All of a sudden you're a role model, a fashion icon. Like I heard a lot of people, they loved your glasses and that was like your thing, but
oh yeah, and I didn't wear my glasses in a video, and everyone's like, where are your glasses? You're, all of a sudden like you're changing your image. And like I lost like 10 pounds recently, and people are like, you're getting too skinny, you're not the same person you were. And I'm like, no, I'm healthier. And I feel better about myself. I'm not stick skinny, I never will be, but she's getting skinny and she lost her glasses. I'm over her. I'm like, I can't do anything. You're never going to please everybody though,
So that's a sign that you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Actually.
I guess.
Yeah.
There's always going to be someone that has a problem with what you do. And
Yeah.
it used to really bother me at first, and like critics would really bother me. And now I've got a tougher skin, and as long as I know that I'm happy and healthy and that I'm treating people well with respect and I'm doing what I love to do, then that's all that matters. So.
I want to ask 2 questions from the chat room, and then we should let Ingrid go so she can rest for her wonderful
Rest your vocals.
performance.
Cool rest.
What is the significance of the red ribbon on your uke?
Oh. Well, that actually belongs to a shirt. It's the belt to this shirt that I got a few years ago. And I was in Seattle doing a festival, and I had just had a new ukulele, and it didn't have an attachment for my strap that goes around the back. So I was like MacGyver, and I'm like, oh, I'll use this, and I'll just lace this through, and then it worked. And I had it just for that show as a makeshift, like, thing to connect the shoulder brace. And then I just thought it looked so cute that I left it on. And I haven't washed it. My bandmate is freaked out about that. She's like, I want to take that and wash it, because it's been like 2.5 years. It's cloth, but I don't want to wash. I like that it's like, it's got like the grunge, the rock grunge.
It has
Yeah.
character.
I'm not eating soup with it. Doesn't matter. You know.
And one last question. What does the song Soldier mean to you?
Soldier is the first track on my last record. It's the opening track, and it's basically, to me, it's just about jumping into something new, whether it's a relationship or a situation or anything. It's just about the idea of life in many aspects is like a war. I feel like you're always fighting for something. I feel like a good life, you're always fighting for something, because that means that you're not complacent, you're not sitting, being idle. And it's just about not being afraid, and about, not being afraid to fight battles for what you want.
Great. Well, thanks so much for stopping by. You're so refreshing, down to earth, and I really liked meeting you. So thanks for stopping by, and I know why all of your fans absolutely adore you.
Oh.
And Kelly KAH wants a shout out, so I'm giving Kelly KAH a
Do
shout out.
you want me to do it, or you do it? Do a shout
Who am
out
I
to.
doing a shout out to?
Kelly KAH.
Kelly K-A-H.
KHH.
K-H-H.
Just say, shout out to Kelly KHH.
I don't like the word shout out.
Or hi.
What would
Hi.
you call it? There you go. She said hello. All
Kelly
right.
KHH.
You can do a
Hi.
shout
And
out.
we give a big shout out to you. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.